Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and welcome to Industry Beacon, where we shine a light on the trailblazers, the disruptors and the industry leaders shaping our future. And in each episode, we'll explore how they're staying ahead in their respective fields, one industry at a time. Now, in focus this morning, the evolving Philippine labor market. With a young and dynamic workforce, the Philippine economy is poised for significant growth. However, challenges persist, including skills mismatches and a pay gap. The Philippine government is actively seeking to attract investments in sectors that create high-quality jobs. Joining us this morning to share his insights on the labor market and more is the president of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, Sergio Ortiz-Luis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Maiki.
Well, thank you for being with us. We have you at an interesting junction. Tomorrow we get inflation, and that's also the U.S. presidential elections. So there are a lot of changes in this dynamic economic backdrop. But first off, can you give us your insights on your take on the current employment industry in the country in terms of job availability, wage levels, and working conditions? Where are we right now, sir?
Well, our unemployment rate has gone down, no? I think in August we are now 4%. And compared to last year, I think of August last year, it's 4.7. And last month, I think it was 4.3. So it's improving, no? Mm-hmm. But it's lower than we would like it to be. And we would like job creation to be faster. Although we're getting, the president is trying very hard to get investors, and these are translated to jobs. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, even with these efforts, we are, what do we say, kulelat in our region because for obvious reasons. One is cost of doing business is still high. And we are trying to address that, especially with the introduction of ARTA, which is very potent, and we hope it can be really spread out on all our government agencies, the efforts that's being done. The other thing is, our cost of fuel. Unlike our neighbors, they are basically subsidized. Ours is high. And we are at a loss whenever there is a movement in this. We cannot do anything about it. Mm-hmm. So those are the other thing is I think basically perception, which to a certain degree is true also. Investors perceive our policies whenever we go out to, and we have visitors in the Philippine Chamber of Commerce, where the possible investors, some of the questions that they do ask is, our policies are erratic. One, for instance, our topic in labor. They will invest, and they have a way to host their investment. All of a sudden, surprises come. They know, for instance, that we have a tripartite wage board which fixes a salary, and then all of a sudden there will be an application, although it will not happen, 750 pesos increase. That's not going to happen. We know it's not going to happen. But in the minds of investors, that frightens them because it can happen. It's just a question of how the voting will go there, no? So that's one thing. The other one is they say that we have too many laws, and because the way we judge our legislator is how many bills they have passed, how many bills they have sponsored. So you come up with bills like holidays. Everybody likes to file bills for holidays.
It's a popular thing to do. Okay, but given, there are a lot of changes on the macroeconomic front. Interest rates have come down from record highs. We've had combination, we've had 50 basis point reduction so far in interest rates. The cut in the reserve requirement ratio of banks was just implemented last week. And also, we've got easing inflation. So all of this is going to help the momentum for job growth, job creation in the country. How would you say it's shaping up for 2025, sir?
You know, again, it's very nice to hear all these numbers. Unfortunately, the other number which really is bothersome is the way we look at our MSME, micro, small, and medium. Micro, small, and medium in the Philippines is 98, 99%. No? But the micro alone is 90% of our enterprises. No? You know, the best, the way we talk about micro, the way we talk MSME, everybody talks about it, but what do we really do about it? You know, in 2019, the numbers I saw, we are the most underbanked MSME in the whole of Asia. For instance, in 2019, the last week before the COVID, which I saw, is Thailand lent to the MSME $290 billion. You know how much in the Philippines?
How much, sir?
$11 billion. The nearest to us was Indonesia, which lent out in 2019 something like $78 billion. Of course, here and there is 60-something is Singapore, but they don't have MSMEs.
Okay.
So that is
what more
understandable.
can we do on the government? What can the government and what can the private sector do? Because they can't do it alone. It's a dual force there and more powerful. What can we do to help improve our standing in the ASEAN?
I think the government has to walk the talk. We support MSME, all these things. Sometimes
So right now, would you say they're not walking that talk?
we're not. 25 years ago, we passed the first Magna Carta for MSME, SME. Ano pa yun? And then, after 10 years, it was to be reviewed, found out nothing happened. In that Magna Carta, the basic thing is you lend 8 to 10% of the bank's portfolio to MSME. Nothing happened. You know why? It was killed by BSP by simply issuing an alternative way of compliance, which is you buy T-bills and you're complied. So we tried to take care of that after in the review, in the second, and what did we do? We took away, there were two agencies created under that. One is the SMED Council, and the other one is the SB Corporation.
Sir, going back to the employment landscape in the country, how has it changed in the recent years? Since the COVID pandemic, there are a lot of changes, and plus with the adoption of AI and artificial intelligence, how has the employment landscape in the country changed in the recent years, and what have been our best gains?
Well, obviously, I think AI can contribute to a creation of more investment or more projects. And but unfortunately, the danger is displacement of workers because they can be automated out. No, even doctors, even lawyers should not sit quietly because they can be replaced by computers. And it's happening. It's happening. So we really have to. It's really a worry. It's really a worry. And we should really be able to upgrade and train our people to be able to adapt here. But unfortunately, we are not doing it effectively as fast. We are trying, but the problem is so huge that I think it will.
Yeah, especially for the BPO industry,
Yes.
AI is, AI fever is high, but at the same time, as much as there's opportunity, there's also a lot of fear around it. Fitch Solutions, the head of Asia Country Risk, Darren Tai, said that the Philippine BPO industry is likely to shrink as the AI shift accelerates. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that our BPO industry is poised to shrink given the adoption of AI and given that it may enable first world countries to reshore jobs back?
Yes. Aside from AI, the competition has increased because of our educational proficiency, for instance, English. Before, we were only worried about India. We were only about now we're worried even with Thailand
Now
and,
the competition is
and
everywhere.
Vietnam
Okay.
in this area.
Okay.
Because their English proficiency is improving and ours is going down.
Okay, as the president of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, what do we need to do in order to upskill and reskill our workforce?
Well, on-the-job training is one, which is cheapest and most practical. No? We have government agencies like TESDA that are doing these things. But I think now in 2021, ECOP, together with DOLE, NEDA, NDTI, and ECOP together with the associations in the manufacturing, construction, BPOs, we entered an agreement in 2000 to create 1 million jobs in that year. And we did succeed in a big way. Unfortunately, there was a spike in August of 2021 in the COVID. So we were delayed, but we were able to meet the 1 million job target in the first quarter of 2022. We did not continue that because there was a change of government, there was a change of policy, there was more. But last year, we again came up with the project jobs. We were encouraged by the presidential advisory group with the SM's caution, encouraging us to come up with a job again, something like what we did that time. And they provided us with all the facilities, all SM. You know, last May 1st, Labor Day, 22 malls all over the country had job fair. And thousands.
Yeah, we need a lot of that. We've got 800,000 to 1 million entering the job force
Yes.
annually.
Yes.
What are we doing to make sure that this workforce has the jobs that they need to provide for their families and grow the economy?
We really have to find investments which can translate to jobs. And we have to find the match, the correct one. Now, in the job market, we do understand the problems of those who are in the provinces. So we are now trying to come up with a platform where we can do hiring through internet. No?
Okay.
And we are doing that. We are now finalizing the details.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask you to hold that thought, Mr. Ortiz. We're going to have to take a quick break. Industry Beacon will be right back. Welcome back to Industry Beacon, where we continue our discussion with the president of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, Sergio Ortiz-Luis Jr. Okay, sir, the U.S. elections are just around the corner. Tomorrow, Tuesday, U.S. time. Which administration do you think would be better for the Philippines as a whole? Would it be a Democratic administration or a Republican administration?
I have no preference, actually. But lately, I am beginning to feel like I prefer Trump.
Okay.
Because I think he can lower the geopolitics, which affects us. in terms of inflation, in terms of employment, and in terms of possibility of having peace in Asia. Because what he's saying makes sense to me, that no more sanctions. He will try to end the war in Ukraine, and he will not force. He will deal China in a different way so that he can lower the tension in. That's what I like, and I think that will create employment, and it will create improvement in our economy.
Are you not worried, sir, about the protectionist policies? Trump espouses an America First policy, which is going to affect trade and it's going to affect tariffs. He also wants to have a hand in monetary policy in the United States. He says because he's a successful businessman, he should have a say in what the Federal Reserve does. Are you not worried about how all of this might ricochet to the Philippines and other emerging markets like us?
I'm not worried, because I think what he's saying is he will try to improve what is being done now. No, even I think even in having a hand on the monetary policies, I think is basically he's saying that they are losing grip on the dollar as the main, and I think BRICS, which is really trying to compete now because of that policy, might tame down a little also. And I think these things of sanction that is being done, which he says he will now stop, will help us a lot,
Okay, we'll
especially
try to
the
get your,
developing countries.
we've got only a few more minutes to go, sir. We'll try to get your thoughts on a couple of more topics. Wages, they've been trending upward in 2024. As inflation has been moderating, do you think that wages are going to be headed higher in 2025?
A few years back, what our come on for investment was the lowest wage in this area of the world. And despite the fact that it is the anniversary probably of maybe 12th anniversary of the 120 pesos a day increase, we have surpassed that 120 pesos a long time ago by giving it little by little. The tripartite regional wage board might not be the perfect one to do this, but they're the nearest to the most objective way to do it. We are against legislating wages because it is very far from, it's very emotional and very political, and we shouldn't do it that way.
Okay, on another front, quickly, sir, with Gen Z and millennials making up majority of the workforce, what should employers do to adapt structures in order to attract and retain the youth?
Well, obviously, employers are in business to make money. But to make money, you have to be stable, and your workers have to be satisfied. And nowadays, you notice there's not much strikes going on, hardly any, because I think the employers and the workers have learned that they're partners. They don't have to fight each other, and we now talk.
It's a symbiotic relationship. Okay.
We now talk. We sit down with the labor leaders, and we have a regular forum with them, and we test out differences. You will notice it's only now that we sign common position papers.
Yeah. Well, it's a symbiotic relationship. Okay, one last question, sir, on another front. Holidays 2025. Malacanang just released the list of holidays for the following year, which includes a number of religious, political, cultural holidays. What are your thoughts on the number of holidays for 2025?
The average holidays in
Other
the world
countries.
is 7. We have 19, and sometimes we are surprised by declaration of special holidays. And we are the most affected by weather. So there are other, people think that, students especially, they don't think that the parents are spending money for that.
The bigger ramifications, yeah. Okay.
So they enjoy that going to school. But same way, there's a lot of workers who are no work, no pay. So if you have holidays, no work, no pay, and we have too many holidays already, we hope that, holiday started with with what we say is yung to protect the Sabbath day.
Yeah.
And then it increased, it became commemorating certain days, commemorating certain people, and we're very fond of that. And a lot of our legislators have to name streets.
Okay. All right, we're going to have to cut this short.
holidays.
That's all the time we have for today, but thank you for your time, Mr. Ortiz.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Okay, and that's it for today's show. I'm Maiki Oreta. Catch the Bilyonaryo News Channel on Free TV, Channel 31, and on cable via Cignal, Channel 24. Thank you for watching the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.